No one likes excuses, but as vegans, we hear them all the time. And because I'm coming up on my 20th anniversary of going vegan, I wanted to break down a couple common excuses that I've heard over the years. First of all, here's an excuse we hear lots and lots of times as vegans. I won't get enough protein if I go vegan, man. Well, the protein myth is so pernicious that we wanted to break it down a little bit. First of all, protein is in just about every food we eat, whether it's bread, beans, legumes, dark leafy greens. Also in the United States, the problem is not getting enough protein. The problem is getting too much protein in our diet. Americans consume far too much protein, and that can often have negative health impacts. So the solution is actually to just eat a well-balanced, plant-based diet. Here's another excuse you probably heard. Plants have feelings too. Well, here's the fact. There's really no scientific evidence that shows that plants have feelings or feel pain or suffer like us animals do. But even if you believe that plants do have feelings, eating meat kills far more plants than being a vegan does. Why? Because most of the plants raised all around the world go to feeding cattle and other farmed animals. Instead of going to animals, plants could go to feed humans, and it could help us fight hunger all around the world. Here's another excuse. I can't give up fish or chicken. Or I only eat fish and chicken, and so I'm a vegetarian, basically. If you eat fish or chicken, you're not vegetarian. You're still consuming animals, because fish and chickens are animals too. And they actually constitute the vast majority of animals farmed, confined, and killed for food all around the world. We know that fish suffer and feel pain. When they're pulled out of water, they suffocate to death in the air. Chickens, on the other hand, are the most abused land animal on the planet. Chickens live most of their lives inside dark, windowless sheds. And if you went to a factory farm, been there like many of our undercover investigators, you wouldn't want to eat chickens at all. Here's another excuse. Well, I just can't give up cheese. If you knew where cheese comes from and the incredible animal cruelty and suffering behind it, you would give up cheese. Cheese comes from dairy cows, and the only way to get cheese is to have cows produce milk. And the only way to have them produce milk is to constantly impregnate them. We know that their calves, their offspring, their babies are taken from them on the very first day that they're born, and that the mothers bellow and moan and cry out for their babies, just like human mothers would. There are also now amazing plant-based cheeses, artisanal, nut-based cheeses, products like Treeline and Miyoko's that are so indulgent and delicious that if you tried them, you would give up milk cheese. Another common excuse vegans hear all the time is that meat simply just tastes too good. Lots of things taste good, but that doesn't mean we should be eating it, right? I mean, dog and cat meat, if seasoned and cooked just the way we wanted it, probably would taste pretty good. But I think most of us would be pretty grossed out by the idea of eating dog and cat meat because we love our dogs and cats. And the same should be true about cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, and other farmed animals who are intensively confined and suffer every single day on factory farms. Also, there are now amazingly delicious plant-based meats. Things like the Beyond Burger, which you can now pick up at pretty much any grocery store all around the country. Another common excuse as vegans hear all the time is that humans are just made to eat meat. Well, the truth is, for most of our history as people, we weren't eating large quantities of meat. In fact, since the recent advent of factory farming, our meat consumption has doubled, tripled, quadrupled in the United States. And that's why we have so many negative health outcomes, things like higher rates of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancers, and other awful things that come from eating meat. We also know that physiologically, our bodies look a lot more like herbivores than they do like carnivores. We have long intestines made for digesting plant-based products. We also have teeth that are good for grinding plant-based products. So we actually do very, very well living on a vegan diet. Here's another excuse we hear a lot. Going vegan just won't make a difference. Well, the truth is, going vegan actually does help a lot of animals, as well as our environment and people too. In fact, one vegan for a single year spares the lives of approximately 30 farmed animals. That really matters to those animals in their lives. Going vegan also allows you to live out your values, and it helps to inspire others and empower the world to adopt a more compassionate and kinder lifestyle.